Today we're dealing with the cheapest oil filter we've come across, the Walmart SuperTech oil filter, $2.84. Let's cut it open. Now I have these other filters here as a comparison. You'll see why in a moment. But this filter is made in the USA, retails for $2.84 and rated up to 10,000 miles. Certainly the lowest costing filter I've come across with a rating up to 10,000 miles. Construction looks to be, for the most part, pretty darn neat. Some filters we've opened up in the past, costing twice as much, you'll find very, very wide spacing in the pleats. The reason why that makes a difference is the higher number of pleats you can fit in here, the better the filtration. In other words, you're increasing the square inches of filtration, and the fact that this is constructed quite nicely for $2.84, absolutely wild. Now this is not a fully synthetic media. This is most likely a blend of polyester and fiberglass. If you want a fully synthetic media, you have to run AmSoil, Royal Purple, Wix XP, Napa Platinum, Purolator Boss. Those are fully synthetic motor oil filters, and they're designed to not only last longer, but the micron rating is would be lower. In other words, this is most likely a 30 micron rating. That's the number, the size of the contaminant that this can capture. Some other filters can be 20, 25 microns. So if you want that longevity, you want a little bit of a better micron rating, you have to spend more money and go with a higher end oil filter. The other thing is, this sort of scares people. In other words, if you take a look, I would say the majority of oil filters, maybe 90% of them out there, they typically run metal end caps and a metal centered tube. But more importantly, metal end caps, and they're glued on. As you can see, Purolator makes very nice filters, but as you can see, the end caps are glued on here, and the gluing is very neat. Some filters, it's really messy. But that being said, if you take a look at the ACDelco, I'm sorry, the Walmart here, the end caps are ultrasonically welded. Now, the reason why I say ACDelco there, absolute coincidence, but we just opened up this filter, the ACDelco, 2 days ago. And this seems to be the exact same filter. So to me, it looks like the same manufacturer. Some of these companies, they just outsource it. So it seems like the same manufacturer is making both filters. And I'll talk more about that in a moment. But with the nylon core, according to ACDelco, the nylon core is 1.5 times stronger than your metal core. Now the thing that was really funny is I was at Walmart and I'm looking at all these filters on the shelf. And typically what I'll do is I'll peek down. Right here is your base plate, and I'm peeking down on all the filters in Walmart. And I started to notice that a number of them are running this nylon core. But some of them still have a metal core. For example, at least the store I visited, part ST6607 still had a metal core. And then every other part number they had there had a nylon core. So this is telling me that they're most likely switching over to a nylon core. Something to look out for. I know there's some diehards out there that love the SuperTech filters. Keep an eye on that because it looks like that they are switching over to a nylon core. But take a look at the filters here. They seem to be absolutely identical. The thing I have to find out is if these filters run for the same vehicles, and I'll tell you why that's very important. Even this component, this is the anti-drain back valve, seems to be the exact same component. The whole point behind this valve is when you shut off the engine, instead of having all of the oil drain out of the filter, this retains the oil inside the filter. It's the whole point behind it. Now typically what you'll find is either rubber, this is nitrile rubber, or sometimes you find a silicone anti-drain back valve. And silicone is a superior component just because it can withstand lower temperatures and higher temperatures than nitrile rubber. But we did open up a Frem Extra Guard, which does run a nitrile rubber anti-drain back valve after 6,000 miles, and the valve was still in very, very good shape. But this is really a safety net, is a silicone anti-drain back valve because the temperature range. We opened up a K&N oil filter which runs a silicone anti-drain back valve after 18,000 miles, and this was still in very good shape. So again, you're spending at least twice as much to get this, but your AmSoil, Royal Purples, Wix XP, they all have silicone anti-drain back valves. But the main difference here is this guy right here. This is your bypass valve. The SuperTech, I don't see it. ACDelco, it does have it. Now the whole point behind this valve is if the filter ever becomes clogged, also in incredibly cold temperatures, this little valve would open up. And unfiltered oil would at least get in the engine so it doesn't starve the engine of motor oil, prevent any seizing, things along those lines. I don't see it with the SuperTech, just isn't here. But what that's telling me is I don't think these, even though they are identical in a sense, I don't think they're made for the same vehicles, these two filters. But I will look it up, and I'll post it in the description box. I'll see if any vehicle matches these two part numbers. If it does, you're better off with ACDelco for $1 more. This is $3.88 on Amazon because you get the bypass valve. But typically it's the manufacturer. If the manufacturer states you have to run a bypass valve, then they'll include it. If the manufacturer states you don't need it, you won't run it. Some vehicles won't have a bypass valve or an anti-drain back valve. So typically it's the manufacturer. But that's what we have here. So again, just to wrap it up very quickly, very quickly, anti-drain back valve, which is nitrile rubber, rated up to 10,000 miles, polyester, fiberglass type of media, nylon core. The end caps are ultrasonically welded. In other words, they're not glued on. And most likely a 30 micron rating. Again, I will check that out to see if this is manufactured to fit the same vehicles as the ACDelco. If it does, again, the ACDelco, it's $1 more, but you get that bypass valve. If I'm missing out on anything here, if you'd like to see anything additional, please leave comments. Would love to hear back from you guys. Until next time, thanks for watching.